Hey guys, it is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Got some crazy stuff for you today. We're going to learn how to play the solos to In My Darkest Hour by Megadeth. So that one I just played is actually the second solo, the main solo song by Jeff Young. And it's got some, it's quite brisk, let's just say that. It moves around quite a bit. Now, I'm actually going to show you Mustaine's solo first, though. So Mustaine's solo is a little bit shorter, and I'll just play through it real quick, and then I'll take a look at that. All right, so this solo is one of those that is not recreatable note for note, just to kind of the style and how it is. He's just really just going for it. He is using a specific set of fingerings, though, that you can lock in, and he's kind of repeating a few licks in there, too. And they're just literally just going nuts on it and playing it as fast as he can. So when you see him play it live, if you like literally lined it up, it's not note for note. It's just the same effect, pretty much. It's really hard to tell whether he's doing the same thing or not, unless you really slow it down. But it's kind of impossible anyway to kind of recreate a solo like that. So let me just first show you the fingerings that he's using, just the scale form that he's doing all these licks through. And then I'll show you some of the licks, and then I'll show you how to kind of put it together to make it sound like what he's doing. So first of all, let's just follow here on this top, on the high E string. We're going to go 17, 15, 12, so kind of a big stretch. All right, same thing, same notes on the B string. Then 15, 14, 12 on the G string. He kind of plays that with these three fingers. And when he gets down to the D string, he does a chromatic there. So it's 14, 13, 12. Now, he continues working his way all the way to kind of this 14, 13, 12 on the A string, and goes down to the 10th fret here. So we have this those are the notes he's using. He gets all the way down to that note, and then he comes back up, and he's just repeating little chromatic 3-note lines. Just kind of like 12, 11, 10 there, and then back up to the 14, 13, 12. And then back to 14, 13, 12 on the D. And then when he gets to the G string, he starts ussing again. So, but using the same note. So basically what you want to first think about is the notes themselves will fall within this pattern. All right, so the solo starts with a little pre-bend at the 17th fret. And then you just kind of release it. And then we start doing a bunch of stuff like that. So those licks, like I said. Now, one of them is just, you can just do a standard. Is that lick. That you'll see him do that quite a bit. Good, so it's hammering on. 12, 15, pull back off to 12, back to 15 on the B. So you'll see that, and then when he gets over to the G string, a little blues scale lick, he does that kind of standard Paul Gilbert lick kind of repeated. So that's probably the one you're going to see the most of. He hangs out here pretty much the most. So 12, 14, 15 on the G, over to 12 on the B, and then back down. Just open pig. So see, when I got to that G string, I just started repeating that lick. And then when you get down to the D string, you're repeating just these 3 notes, descending, 14, 13, 12. Then do that same all the way down to the 10. And it gets kind of, like I said, it gets kind of warbled sounding. You can't really hear it too well, especially when he's coming back up, because he's got it really heavily palm muted. But it sounds like he's doing like a little chromatic thing. He's just kind of going up, doing that, still doing that descending. Doing that descending 3-note pattern, chromatic lick, but he's just kind of going up to the scale. And then when he gets to the back to the G string, he starts doing that familiar lick again. So far we got. And then at the end of the solo, it kind of sounds like he's doing the 12, 15, 17 on the B, and then kind of doing a hammer pull off 12 and 15 on the high E. Just kind of going up and down through that. And he ends it with the bend of the 17. So that's kind of the closest that we're really going to be able to get to getting that note for note. Just hope you understand, it's not a note for note solo. Getting the vibe down, understanding a couple of the patterns that he's using, little licks or patterns that he's repeating within the solo, and then the actual scale shape itself that he's playing it across is going to get you a lot further than trying to break it down note for note, which is pretty much impossible. All right, so now let's go back to Jeff Young's solo. This solo pretty much is a lot easier to get note for note, except for a couple of sections. There's some weird little areas where it's the parts are like really low in the mix, and depending on what version, like remastered version, like the version on YouTube, I could hear like this little chromatic muted part of it better than I could on the version that the album version. So it's just really, depending on the mix that you're hearing, some of it's really hard to hear. But anyway, we're going to get here and I'm going to show you kind of when those areas come up, what you can do with them, maybe some options. But anyway, so I played at the beginning. Let me just play the first phrase again, and then we'll take a look at it. All right, so this is kind of a chromatic lick, a lot of legato-based lick. So what you want to do here is, so he's basically doing 3 notes, like hammering, play the start on the 3rd fret on the low E, hammer 4, 5, back down to 4, 3. And after you do that a couple times, you're going to go over to the 3rd fret on the A string, hit that, and slide up a fret, and then do that little legato lick again. All right, so after you've done that lick there, then jump over to the 5th fret on the D string and start it over again. So that's... So it's basically the same thing, just an octave apart. All right, and then he's going to get up to the 7th fret here on the G. So he didn't do the octave. Just go to the 7th, slide up to the 8, right, go up to 9, 10, 8. And then from here, he starts following into an actual scale. Well, the actual key. So after you've done, get up to that top note. It's got a little trill between 8 and 10. Slide down between 6 and 8, and then play 5. So remember, it's the same pattern. And then to end that right there, you're going to slide into the 10 on the B string, and then you're going to... There's a little bit of vibrato there in there. I didn't really use it. Not that much, but I don't really like using the vibrato bars too much. So you're going to play 10, slide to 12, and then play 15. That kind of ends that phrase. So nice and slow. All right, and then we have a big harmonic with some big, you're gonna pull up the bar. He's actually getting this harmonic. When I did the video at the beginning, I just hit the, which is the harmonic off the open G string. That's not what he's doing on the album though. I saw Chris Broderick, when he played it, he just did the harmonic here. Which is easier to grab and it's actually gonna be louder for you. On the recording, he hits the harmonic off the second fret of the G string, which is harder to get, and then my bar won't go that far back that he does, but he brings it up really high by pulling that back. So if you want the exact pitch that he does on the album, do it off the second fret of the G string. Hit a nice harmonic. Better than that. All right, and then you'll be able to closer recreate it. But like I said, my bar won't go that high, so I can't really recreate it with my setup. Now coming out of that, this part is very hard to hear in the mix unless you're listening to the right recording. Their official video online, you can hear it really well on YouTube. And it's a really fast, heavily palm muted chromatic lick that looks like this. All right, so let me just show you the notes real quick. 4, 5, 6, 7 on the G string, over to 4 on the B, and then that's as high as we go. Then the rest is going to be descending. And we're going to go straight chromatic all the way down. 7, 6, 4, 3 on the G. And then the same thing on the D. And the same thing on the A. So we have this. I'm sorry. And then when we get down to the 6th string, we're going to play this. So this. Now you're really kind of chugging it, and you slow down and just accent each one of those. So 7, 5, 3, and then play the 5 with some bend on it. All right, so that one up to speed takes some, pretty advanced alternate picking speed. So it helps to have that palm muting. And it helps the notes kind of pop out. All right, now here comes my favorite lick of the solo. Sounds like this. Did you get that? All right, let's move on. Anyway, so these are some. If you're a Petrucci fan, you've probably played stuff like this. So it's going to be 12-9 on the G. So this is just the same pattern. It's going to be repeated. So 12-9 and then 10-9-10 on the D string, back to 9 on the G. So that is the pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-note pattern. Strict alternate picking. So that's the cross string. Just kind of work on it like that. Just work it up to speed. Try to really get that. When you palm mute, it's going to help control those strings and you'll be able to get it faster. So we had that. So that first one is done twice. Then we're going to jump up here. We're going to play the same pattern. We're just going to change the notes. We're going to go 14-10 on the G string, and then 12-10 on the D. So it's the same 6-note pattern, just with those off of those 4 notes. So we're going to do it twice here where we started. then once here. Then basically we're going to take that same thing and move it up 2 more frets. So now it's going to be 16-12 on the G, 14-12 on the D. Once again, do that pattern, the 6-note pattern with those 4 notes once. So far we have. All right, and then the last one, we're going to play 17-14 on the G, 15-14 on the D. So do the 6-note pattern there. And when you get back up to the 17, hit a little harmonic on there, on that. So, all right, and then we have a little melody that comes after that, the next phrase. So you're one little breather in this solo. So that's just 15-14 on the D, then 17, 15, back to 17, then 14, 15 on the D, and then you're going to hit 14 with a harmonic. All right, and then we've got 2 more phrases to look at. This next one looks like this. All right, so that is fast, heavily palm muted, but not that bad because you're using kind of the same fingering, well, the exact same fingering across strings. So you're going to start at the 12th fret and then shift it up to 14. I know it doesn't sound in the key, but when you're playing stuff this fast, it really doesn't matter what note you're playing. And you can play it out of key notes all you want because it's just going by so damn quick. All right, so we have 12 and then shift up to 14, 15, 17, then play 14, 15, 17 on the A, and then 14, 15, 17 on the D. All right, so it's kind of just like a little burst. All right, and then we do kind of the same thing for really the last section of the solo. All right, so that starts at the 15th fret on the low E, then go up to 17, 19, 20. And then we're going to play 17, 19, 20 on the A. So we have this. See how heavily palm muted this is? Over to 17 on the D string, then back to the 20 on the A. And now we're going to ascend the whole way up. So we have this. Then we're just going to play 17, 19 on the D and the G. Then play 17, 18, 20 on the B string. Then play 17, 19, 20 on the high E, whole step in, and play 20, 19, 17 coming back down. And then to end it, then 20, 17, 20 on the B, and then a bend, then a bigger one, then a bigger one, and you're done. So we have this. All right, so and that out of that chromatic lick that we checked out in the rhythm videos comes out of that. All right, so like I said, these solos are pretty intense, especially that second one, which is just there's some actual definitive notes that you have to play, some patterns you got to play, and they're just played at like blitzkrieg speed. So hopefully you'll be able to get it down, and you can just work on those patterns by themselves, get them locked into your fingers, and to get that muscle memory going, and that'll allow you just kind of take the speed up without getting tense and all that fun stuff. All right, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.